Curtis here, looking after things for you. And I've got Stel on the phone, our Cypriot football expert. Stel, how are you?
Kalimera, Curtis, how are you? Thank you for having me on your show.
Mate, do you know what? Fantastic to have you, and I lap up the chance to pick your brain to hear about all things Cypriot football at what we could potentially argue is we're at the crucial point. It's the business end, isn't it, of the Cypriot First Division?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And do you know what? There's no change at the top. Addis maintained their 3-point lead at the top with a 2-0 win against Apollon. But to be brutally honest, Addis could and should have had 5 or 6, given the amount of chances they created, not to mention the 2 goals that were ruled out. But speaking of which, the referees union admitted on Wednesday that both the referee and VAR officials got it wrong. And the second Addis goal that was disallowed should have stood. And interestingly enough, Upwell have kept up the pressure on Aris after coming from behind to beat AEK 2-1, which incidentally is their first win in this season's playoffs, which has eased a bit of pressure on their head coach. But unfortunately for them, their January signing, Ben, joins a few more players on the treatment table. He ruptured his Achilles and he could be out for 6 or 7 months. And at 33 years old, I don't know what that means for his career. But meanwhile, in Buffalo, my Omonia, an unexpected 1-0 victory thanks to a 25-yard rocket from left-back Jan Lesiak. It's the kind of strike that Paul Scholes will be proud of. Google it. It's absolutely immense.
I love
that.
But
here's where it gets really interesting, Curtis. A win for Upwell at Apollon on Sunday will take the title race to the final day where they entertain Aris. However, Aris play on Saturday, knowing a win will keep them top, 6 points clear, albeit for 24 hours. If they win, their opponents, Upwell's deadly rivals and my team, Omonia, who actually have the cup final 4 days later. So for those of you listening who don't have any plans on Saturday, head down to the Aris Omonia game. Tickets are still available. I strongly advise you to attend because I believe you're about to witness history.
Strong words. That's the beautiful thing, isn't it? At the minute, there is, in essence, everything's still to play for. I mean, at the top 2 teams, Aris and Apoel, only 3 points between them. Like you say, it's still all in the business there. But for that final European place, there is mathematically, although it may not be in reach in terms of form and what you think that the teams are capable of, but mathematically, between AEK, Pafo and Apollon, anyone could still get European football here, couldn't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And AEK face Buffalo this weekend. If Buffalo win, they go level with AEK. If Apollon beat Apoel, they go level points as well. So there's so much to play for. And then obviously there's still the final day. It's very, very interesting for Cyprus. The championship is up for grabs and also the relegation spots are up for grabs. Now, as you know, Curtis, I don't usually discuss Group B matters, but there are a couple of things worth mentioning, honestly. Wednesday's fixture between Salamin and Paralimni was investigated prior to kickoff by the Committee of Ethics and Safeguarding in Sport due to some suspicious betting activity related to that game. Now, CES, which is the organization's acronym, not to be confused with cesspit, which is a term used by many Cypriot fans to describe the FA. They also put today's encounter between Olympiacos and Doxa on red alert. Now, that's very important.
It's that point. If you're a football fan, you get to the end of the season, that sadness and that realisation that football's stopping starts to kick in. Do you have anything kind of off-season news, any pre-season training? Do we know when that's set to start or anything like that?
Well, it's interesting you say that because there's a bit of news relating to Ormidia, which is a club that Hao and I usually discuss. Now, a member of the new board of directors told 24 Sports that a vote will take place to determine whether or not the club will change its name to Algi Ormidia. Now, the reason why this is significant is because for those who don't know or remember, back in February, the second division team called Algi Oroglini went into administration and folded. It looks like the Algi name could be making a comeback. And also one more thing, which may interest a few Crystal Palace fans. According to Supersport FM, former Palace midfielder Jason Punchin, who had a spell at Buffalo and Unorthodoxy, he could begin his managerial career at second division team Bayer. Now, interestingly enough, there's a chance Buffalo will be using Bayer's actual stadium next season due to construction work being done at theirs. Now, there's a bit of a link between Buffalo and Bayer, and given that Punchin had a spell at Buffalo, had a couple of successful years, to be honest, at Buffalo, there's a link there between the two clubs. So maybe there's that in. Again, it's just conjecture at the moment. I don't know
Yeah.
anything concrete. This is according to Supersport.
Shape up the drama before the end of the year. Stel, it's been fantastic to speak to you, mate. And do you know what?
Likewise.
If we can get another one in, if potentially next week it's me still and Hal's still on leave, then who knows? We might just be discussing the new champions of Cyprus.